Let's bring in our next guest with Batya Ungar-Sargo, who's opinion editor at Newsweek and also a U.S. Report regular. Batya, thanks so much for being here. We mentioned earlier that Trump was missing in action at the GOP debate. Instead, though, I thought this was fascinating. He held a rally in Michigan going after working-class voters. Have a listen to this.
What they're doing to the auto industry in Michigan and throughout the country is absolutely horrible and ridiculous. Hundreds of thousands of American jobs, your jobs, will be gone forever because crooked Joe Biden is selling out. But I don't think it's him. I don't think he actually knows what the hell he's doing.
Now, Batya, these voters that he's pitching to, these used to be Democrats. These were the people that Democrats loved and thought they had a lock on. But now, of course, you know, the Democrats love rich people in tall towers in Manhattan and illegal migrants coming across through the southern border. Tell us about Trump's pitch here, and is he on the money?
It was so fascinating to listen to his address. I only caught the first hour because I had to switch over to the debate, of course, but it was one of the best speeches I've heard him give in a really long time. You're absolutely correct. He stood up there and addressed a crowd of auto workers, some of them unionized, some of them not. But he told them that he respected their union boss and that he wanted his endorsement. 2 weeks ago, he said that he's a moderate on abortion and people should stop going after women and they should be making these choices. This is not your parents' Republican Party. This is the new Donald Trump version of the Republican Party that sees itself as the champion of the working man. And I got to tell you, there was no stronger contrast between the future of the GOP that President Trump represented in his rally, talking to working class people, describing to them the kind of economic agenda he plans to enact for them to put their interests ahead of those of the rich and the elites, which is actually what he did in his first term. There's no greater contrast between that and what you saw on that Republican debate stage, where you had a bunch of people talking straight to Republican donors who don't care at all about Republican voters.
Well, and this brings up a really interesting thing here, too, because we've spoken about this on the show before, about the way class drives American politics in ways that people don't often want to talk about. And one of the things we're seeing right now is this big surge in migration, and a lot of Republicans attack the Democrats for this, but they're also about basically, you know, bringing in lots of migrants. This idea that Trump is protecting Americans, that must be driving people on both sides of the aisle absolutely nuts.
Trump is 10 points ahead of Biden in the latest poll, ABC poll, okay? So we're not talking about some Republican outfit. People were saying that that had to do with the indictments. It doesn't. It is 100% the result of American cities teeming with illegal migrants and their families and their children who are now in public schools that are already overburdened, who are now in hotels where you have public housing for poor Americans that's falling apart. It is unfair. I was talking to an immigrant from 30 years ago today. He said, I've been paying taxes for 30 years. They just show up and they're handed so much. People are so upset about this, and it really is turning the tide in Trump's favor. And the thing is you're absolutely right. Democrats like to talk about immigration in moral terms, as if they are somehow the beneficent, the sanctuary for bring us, you're tired, you're hungry, people fleeing persecution. The vast majority, and I'm talking 95% of the migrants who have come over the last 3 years during Joe Biden's reign are economic migrants, and they are coming here to compete with American working class people for their jobs. And that is why this is 100% about economics. And the funny thing is that the Democrats know that. They want these workers. They want them in their cities working for less than minimum wage, doing cheap jobs, cheap labor in their households, and competing for working class jobs because they don't want to pay the working class what they get paid.